really creating set of features. Okay, one is language understanding, the other one is how to basically create the art or the pictures, images. The third aspect of it is how to really translate. How do we really make use of this technology in various applications is what this company is aiming about. And they've been achieved tremendous amount of progress in last couple of years. And that is where lot of big companies started observing this OpenAI company and what they were creating. Okay. And why it has become so famous, why OpenAI has become most famous is because first time in the history of evolution of all the technology of OpenAI, a computer, a machine was able to really converse, talk like a human when we are interfacing with it. Okay. ఎట్లా అంటే we can have a good chat with it. We can ask to do some tasks, and the tasks will really look like somebody, a human like person has really created that, has executed that. And it has also act very responsibly in many cases. If somebody is trying to abuse you, it doesn't basically take abuse back or create some damage. It holds its responses very responsibly and try to really act as though like it has that emotional factor behind it. Okay, these two aspects really trigger a lot of interest for many companies. And really one of the companies which really created a lot of hype and made this into mainstream, where everybody is suddenly got a jolt that something is happening in this space. Microsoft is one such company. Basically they invested, they have supported OpenAI, and they started expanding the scope by taking the capabilities of OpenAI into the mainstream products like Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and a lot of other products of Microsoft. And since Microsoft is already been there in the market for many years, suddenly the interest has gone up tremendously across the market. That is why, like, we are all seeing what is happening with OpenAI, and everybody's interest has grown to understand this technology. Okay. Now, this is a very simple context I wanted to set it. What is OpenAI and what is Microsoft OpenAI? Because Microsoft has been working with OpenAI very closely. So whenever you think about enterprises, a company gurinchi aalochinchina gaani, there is an open source technology and there is a enterprise technology. Open source technology is available for everyone. Everybody can participate, everybody can use this technology, and everybody can develop and contribute to this technology. That is what is the OpenAI. The problem with this OpenAI is it is always evolving and new features getting evolved, and it basically takes the creativity of the people who are contributing to that to a new level. But when you are coming to an enterprise, if you are developing a product, if you are creating an application, a mobile application, if you are basically running a company where you have to use software, you need a very stable software. You need a software which is very secure. You need a software where you can actually control and customize as per your needs. Purely with open AI or the open software, that is not possible because things are evolving constantly and changing constantly. That is where you basically take what is there in the open market and then customize the features, put some framework so that it is very stable. There is a support team which is working on the software to help out. That is what is Microsoft OpenAI is all about, where it is secured, it can be customized, it can be deployed for specific applications. Whereas the OpenAI, which is out there in the market, which is still developed by the OpenAI company, is freely available, it is accessible, it is evolving, it's constantly generating. So what you will see is the OpenAI technologies given by the OpenAI company versus OpenAI technology is given by Microsoft, Google, and other companies, there will be always a gap of features. This is more stable, the other one is more evolving. So this is one of the important concept to understand, where you will see the different versions of this OpenAI technology exposed by different companies. Okay. Now, let's understand what are the key capabilities this OpenAI technology brings. It varies from various segments. It can generate the content. What that means is it can actually converse to a human being. It can understand what the questions human beings are interacting with, what we are asking for it. It can search the web, it can bring the content, it can collate, summarize, and create the content. Let's say if you are basically having a research article, it can summarize those articles. If you are developing an application using Python, C, C Sharp, or any of those technologies, it can assist you in generating some code. It can search based on your interest the information from the web and bring it to you in a very, very concise manner. Okay. So here are a couple of important use cases where this technology has been explored today. Call centers, personalized UI, okay, documentation, social media trends, creating new applications using natural language. For example, if you have a good mobile application and you wanted to have a natural language interface where instead of always typing, somebody wanted to speak, OpenAI technology can help there. Searching the web for important information, discovering new information, learning new technology. So like that, there are many, many capabilities which this OpenAI is bringing to everyone. So here is some of the examples where multiple OpenAI models are used, be it like call center analytics, or be it customer information, business process automation, search engines, generating code, creating new database engines with query models, creating news content. All these cases presently are being explored to use OpenAI capabilities. Okay. If you really look at the landscape of how the OpenAI has been evolving, in 2015 is where this OpenAI company has been formed. This is basically the founder of this OpenAI is called Sam Altman. If you followed the recent news, Sam Altman was in India and he was actually interfacing with a lot of companies. He, in fact, even met our Prime Minister Modi, and he has a detailed discussion of what are the technologies they are developing and how they are actually working with various companies across the world. And in 2020, they have released something called GPT-3. We will talk about what is GPT means and what does it do. And then subsequently, after 2020 and 2021, they created a new tool called Dali, where it is capable to generate images. And we will also look at some of the interesting aspects of this Dali as well. Okay. And from there, the evolution in 2022, there is a new GPT 3.5 or GPT Turbo, it is called. And in 2023, this year, they have released GPT-4, which is much more capable in terms of our natural language understanding. And with OpenAI and Microsoft coming in together, there are 4 distinct aspects. This is one thing which everybody can make yourself familiar with. When you talk about OpenAI technologies, there are 4 different aspects. GPT with 3 or 4, the different versions. Codex, which will generate the code. GPT is basically capability to understand the text and then generate the text in terms of human-like understanding. Dali is image generation. Chat GPT is kind of an interface over a GPT where it will give you like conversational kind of interface. So you can ask question, it will respond. Then you can ask a follow-up question in the context of the original question. Like that, you can have a very lengthy conversation with respect to any topic. So these are the 4 different areas. So whenever from going forward, if anybody is talking about OpenAI, be very familiar that these are the 4 key capabilities which OpenAI brings to us. Okay. Now let's basically talk about each area. What is GPT? GPT actually the technical definition of that is generative pre-trained transformer. That's basically the core definition of what GPT stands for. Okay. It is kind of a deep learning model or a machine learning model developed by OpenAI. Okay. And what this GPT does is basically it tries to understand. For example, if you ask, okay, I wanted to know about a certain topic, I wanted to know about machine learning, I wanted to know about global economy. If you ask that question, then this GPT will basically take that question, break down that question into multiple words, and tries to understand the meaning of it, goes to the web, collect the information, bring it back, and not just give you the information which is it has collected. It will put in a human-like form so that it is actually able to explain it what the question you are asking for. Okay. So let's look at what is the difference between a GPT and a search. As we all know, we have been using search for very long time. Search engines మనకు తెలుసు కదా, Google అంటే search. Search కి acronym has become Google for a very long time. So let's understand what is the difference between a search and a GPT. Okay. So if you go to any Google page, type this simple question, what is iFocus mission? You can all try as well on your own. Okay. What do you get? Generally, you'll get list of all the links. iFocus mission, about iFocus mission from LinkedIn, iFocus mission from Instagram, iFocus mission from Facebook. So you get some hundreds of links which basically matches the words with respect to iFocus and a mission. Now, if somebody wanted to understand really what is this iFocus mission is all about, that could be the purpose why he is asking this question. He or she is asking this question. Whereas if you basically type the same information on a GPT engine, for example, I used here the Bing GPT engine. Okay. What it is bringing is basically a very, very summarized information what iFocus mission is all about. Okay. So if we quickly go to a small demo, we will look at a couple of more examples when we are actually seeing the demo of this. Okay. So that you see the difference here, it is just getting the information. Here it is organizing the information and summarizing the information. That is the fundamental difference between a search and a GPT. And you might ask why it is so important, because it will make our lives much more efficient. Instead of going through these hundreds of links, now you are able to get precisely the information which you need. ఏ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అయితే మనం చూస్తున్నామో, ఏ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అయితే మనం కావాలనుకుంటున్నామో, it is able to bring close to that aspiration. And how you can actually leverage this power of GPT is that, for example, you heard about some new company, or if you are going for an interview with a new company, okay, and you wanted to understand what that company does, what are the products, where are they located, who are the key people, you can have all that conversation in a GPT engine. Instead of going through all the links, you can get a very summarized information with respect to GPT engine. That is the power, where within very short time, within few minutes, you are able to get the precise information what you need in the way you need it, and become really like intelligent about the information you are searching for. Now it is very, very important to understand what is actually happening behind this GPT. Okay. You might wondering, okay, is it another search engine, or there is some magic that is happening behind this GPT engine. This slide is little technical, but it is good to understand how these words, even if you don't understand the complete terms within that, just try to grab the understanding and the meaning behind this, so that you can become very intelligent and you can always research offline after this session. So the technology behind the GPT engine is large language models. Okay. So what does large language models mean? Okay. And how do they work? And what is large in the large language model? These are some of the basic questions. Okay. Usually out there in the market, there are different large language models which various companies are publishing. GPT is one of the very famous one, but similarly there are other language models. Okay. And there are basically they use lot of information from the web and process it. Now, any language model, if you really see, there are two aspects. So language model అంటే ఏంటంటే బేసికల్గా మనం న్యాచురల్గా ఒకళ్ళతో ఒకళ్ళు మాట్లాడతాం. బట్ మాట్లాడినప్పుడు ఒక మనకు మన ఆలోచనల్ని, మన ఎమోషన్ని ఒక సెంటెన్స్లో ఫామ్ చేస్తాం. ఆ సెంటెన్స్లో ఎమోషన్కి తగ్గ వర్డ్స్ ఉంటాయి, గ్రామర్ ఉంటుంది, and there is a sequence in which you build these emotions, right? So there are two concepts here, something called word embedding. Word embedding is a representation of a word in a numerical fashion, because machines only understand numerics, ones and zeros. So first thing, whenever we speak to a machine, it takes the sentence, whatever question we are asking, and it tries to break it into multiple words, and those words are represented in ones and zeros within the machine, so that it can understand and process it. For example, let's say man is represented in a vector form, in a matrix form. For example, femininity of a man is 0, youth is 0, and royalty or some property of that is 0. Whereas if you take woman, femininity is 1, the youth is 0, and royalty could be 0. Girl, femininity, if you take a girl, femininity is 1, youth is 1, and royalty could be 0. If you take a princess, so femininity is 1, youth is 1, and royalty is 1. So what you are seeing is these are human like words which we understand. We all understand these words, but machine doesn't understand. Femininity, youth, royalty is the words which we understand, but machine doesn't understand. So the machine is trying to basically represent the property of a man or a woman or a boy or a girl or prince or princess or queen, king, monarch in terms of numbers in zeros and ones. So this is what the machine can understand. Okay. So converting a word into a machine like format is called word embeddings. This is one very, very important concept in the area of language model, how to make machine to understand the language. I think somebody is trying to speak. You can go on mute. The second aspect is tokens and tokenization. This is another important concept in the language model. So here, what is tokens and tokenization is, whenever you are asking a statement or whenever you are making a statement, what machine does is it tries to break that statement into different tokens. For example, I love cats. And a statement మనం మాట్లాడినప్పుడు I love cats. These are 3 tokens. So basically machine is trying to break the statement into 3 words. This is called word level tokenization. There is something called character level tokenization, where if you give a word called apple, then machine will try to break it into each character, A, P, P, L, E. Each one is 1 token. Okay. This is character level tokenization. Subword level tokenization. For example, happiness and unhappy. There are 2 different words. Unhappiness, if you basically mention that word, it will break it into un and happiness as 2 different tokens. This is sub-word level tokenization. So what is happening with word embeddings and tokenization is whatever human like conversation which we are doing, machine is trying to break the words represent in numbers and break the sentences into tokens, and putting the word embeddings and tokenization together with some rules, it will generate the language which we can understand. So you see the amount of complexity involved here. Even though we speak it so fluently, a small boy can pick up a language. Or చిన్న పిల్లాడు చిన్న పిల్లగా ఎట్లయితే లాంగ్వేజ్ పికప్ చేసుకుంటారో, but behind that, if you have to simulate that technology with a machine, so much has to happen behind the scenes. That is precisely what is happening behind GPT engine. And there are many companies working on this: OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Meta, DeepMind, Nvidia. These all companies are working on this technology of language models. Now imagine, for just a simple words like this, you can see 3 by 3, okay, the matrix of 3 by uh, to represent one aspect of it. Basically 1:3 vector, and this is a vector. So many numerics are required. Understand, if this kind of a statement has to be represented in this matrix, understand the whole conversation has to be put it in the machine, then what you can understand is each one is one entity. So there will be millions and millions of tokens and millions of word embeddings which machine has to store and process it. That requires tremendous amount of computing. So from 2017 all the way to 2022 and even now, the GPT engine, which is basically a language model, is able to process 1 trillion entities or 1 trillion tokens, 1 trillion embeddings in order to understand the human conversation. So that is amount of computing that is happening. So basically, if you go to the GPT engine, it is looking at entire web in terms of what is the content that is happening. At the same time, the people are asking questions, it is able to process that and keep on building its knowledge base and process that, and builds the tokens and embeddings in order to process that language. So today the GPT engine can is able to really create the whole features up to 1 billion entities in any kind of conversation. So that means, irrespective of which country you are, which language it is, what context it is, whether it's technology, non-technology, whether it's books, whether it's articles, whether it's newspapers, anything that is mentioned, it is able to process that and keep on building. It is almost 15,000 times increase in its ability to understand language in last 5 years. You can only see in next 5 years how much capability it can increase, because it's constantly observing. Okay, that is the reason it is called large language models. Instead of having taking a small basic concept of breaking the language and then building upon entities and understanding the whole base to understand every entity that is out there in the web space, is why it is called large language models. And today you can see there are many GPT engines which are out there. Okay, for example, Google Bard is one of the language models which Google has released recently. OpenAI, which we already know, it's been out there, constantly developed. This OpenAI capability of GPT engine is now basically integrated with Microsoft Bing. So these are all the different large language models which are out there, and there are many more developed by different companies as well. Okay, so GPT engine is all about text, language, conversation. This is all enabled with GPT engines. This is one of the core piece of OpenAI technologies. The second such technology is called Dali. So Dali is very interesting and completely kind of magical in a way. What it does, this is again based on the machine learning model. developed by OpenAI. And the main concept or the purpose behind the Dali is to generate very unique and creative images based on the text. For example, I wanted to really create a new set of painting. Okay, Dali can help me do that. I don't know how many of you have observed the sessions flyer, which is been distributed by Lakshmi Kiran and the TechShetra team. There is an image here, image which is part of that flyer. In fact, this image is generated by Dali. Okay. You can ask a question. So if I basically show you what I have done, I'll just quickly bring you in terms of what a Bard kind of a tool can do. Okay, or Dali kind of a tool can do. So you go to your Dali, which is again shared by the OpenAI group. It is available for everyone to play with it. Okay. You basically try Dali. Because I was playing with this Dali for so much, I don't have enough credits to actually create a new image. But let me show you like what all it can do. Okay. It's slightly slower. Just bear with me. Okay. So I was like, when we were planning this session, I wanted to see what all the options it can create if I wanted to put it on flyer. I just asked the question, generate an image for kids using artificial intelligence in digital art. And it has generated these pictures. Okay. That's the beauty of it. And let me tell you what is so unique about this Dali images. To do little swapping so that you can see the full screen. You're able to see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So what is so unique about Dali is that the images generated by Dali are unique and have not been seen before. That means the image which I created for this session, it is unique. It is like first time it has been created and there is no duplicate of that anywhere on the web. That's the power of Dali. Okay. Each time you give a same prompt. Let's say if I basically ask it to generate the images with the same prompt, it will generate a completely different or a unique image by itself. It will not repeat the same image. In fact, the pictures which you are seeing here, the floating chair or this dog per se, it might look like a photograph, But in reality, this dog doesn't exist. It is an image created by Dali based on the prompt. So now you can really ask, what is the future of Dali type of tools? It is only limited by your imagination. Everybody can become an artist. Everybody can create a very unique piece of the thing. Same thing with GPT and same thing with Dali. Such a set of powerful capability which everybody is accessing. I have an access to it today. Okay. So if somebody is not a very good in terms of painting, which I'm not a very good painter, but if I wanted to really like create some unique art, I have a tool to do that. And that tool is available for each one of you. That's the power which OpenAI created. Okay. Any quick questions? I'll just take a quick pause. Okay, let's move on.
So now we will see a simple generic question. Will that generative AI will replace us?
Voice is not clear.
Yeah,
Lakshmi.
we receive a very generic hard topic question. Will the generative AI will replace us?
We will come to that. Just
Yeah.
hold on to that topic.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Sir, I have posted one quick question. I don't know how much time we have, but just a little curious to know the input for OpenAI. Although you mentioned has got large language models trying to associate different combinations of words, but how does it actually stay latest or live? Like Google uses web crawlers to basically to gather its data. How does OpenAI gather its data to be current?
Okay, good question. So just like how the Google crawls and processes the information, the similar aspect of it is happening with the GPT engines as well, or in fact even Dali as well. Every time there is a new information out there, there is a constant processing that is happening behind the scenes, and it is basically enhancing its model with more and more entities. That is precisely what I was sharing. In last 5 years, based on the information that has been fed into the GPT model, it's constantly understanding, creating new entities, processing new entities, and increasing its scope of the database of understanding, so that it can understand new languages, it can understand new entities, it can understand new properties, and able to answer whatever question somebody throws at it. Okay. And how really it works and what is the mechanism of it is a much deeper kind of a session, which we can plan in future sessions with Tekshetra. Okay. Now, quickly moving on, there is another concept within OpenAI is called codex. An extension of that codex is what is Copilot. So these are the two terms which you will really hear out in the market wherever you are conversing about OpenAI. The codex is again a language model specifically meant for generating code. Okay, and it basically looks at various types of code which is available in the market. Okay, and using the language model based on what you are asking for. Let's say, for example, I wanted to create a web page. You can ask in a natural language, I wanted to create a web page for hosting my store, a retail store which sells honey, or which sells basically some clothing. Or you can actually say that I wanted to create a web page to really process information for subscription of my product or my service. So you can ask in a natural language, and Codex will be able to really bring the code and present it to you, and you can actually compile that code and build that application. So it acts as a supporting element for any developer. So extending that capability, Microsoft has created something called Copilot. The Copilot is basically a pilot which sits next in an aircraft, which who has equal capability and almost he has everything how the aircraft works and is able to assist the main pilot. That is basically the Copilot. The same concept has been taken, and now the AI copilots are becoming the mainstream with respect to the development within the enterprise. So copilots can generate code, they can add the content to a document in a Word, they can summarize articles from the web, they can build Excel formulas in an Excel sheets. They can even create a presentation if you give the concept. Basically, let's say I wanted to create a good presentation for a second grade school on certain topic. Let's say about Ramayana, or you can actually create a presentation for a business proposal. You can actually ask those questions, and this OpenAI capability of Copilot can really help you to create a very good presentation. Of course, it is not perfect, but that's where like we as humans have to get involved and fine tune it and take it to the required audience. So what all types of code a copilot can generate? So in a general purpose programming, it can generate Python, JavaScript, Java, C++, C Sharp, Ruby. In web development, it can create HTML pages, CSS, JavaScripts. In data analytics, it can do data analytics using various tools which are out there like TensorFlow, PyTorch. It can create SQL statements for your database. It can even do the scripting in terms of file operations, networking, deployments, all that scripting it can do. So Copilot can really help you to really play a major part in all these areas. Okay. When you see this list and the capability of Copilot, as somebody was asking the question, you get a goosebumps. Is it going to replace us? What is going to happen to our future? Are we going to really exist or not? Okay. That's a very, very good question and very good kind of perspective to have it. Let's hold on to that and see what all we can do about it. So very soon you will see the new set of areas that are coming up on Copilot. They will be part and parcel of all the tools which you use on day-to-day basis. Let's say you are a small retail shop having basically the scanning and billing. You can have a Copilot which will basically generate what is happening with respect to store, how much inventory you have, and all that. A copilot can really build a small application and deploy within your space. If you are a very large enterprise, it can generate lot of reports for you from the information that is out there. If you are a developer and trying to develop your unique application, you can use copilots to generate all the basic code in terms of your exception handling, login pages, documenting the code, all that aspects a copilot can support. Okay. And you can focus all your energies on the core logic which you wanted to build. Okay. So now you have seen all the positive aspects of it, from the GPT, Dali, and Copilot to all the capabilities which it can bring it, right? Now, what are the areas of concerns of this generative AI? Is it perfect? Does it replace us? Does it take over all our jobs? Not necessarily. Okay. Here is one important limitation or important aspect of this whole OpenAI technology or generative technology is it is not 100% accurate. It tries to bring it the best of it, but just like humans, because it is behaving like humans, it do have properties like humans. There is a lot of hallucinations. hallucinations which usually attributed to humans, it is also possible with these technologies that they hallucinate and try to create responses. There could be bias, and because it is based on lot of web information, the authenticity of that information is questionable, and many more challenges like that. Okay, so let me actually demonstrate it, how this really impacting us quickly. Okay, since we are all from iFocus, I was actually playing with it. So I went to basically the bar tool from the Google and say what is iFocus mission. So it did generate a lot of information, which is very, very good in terms of what we do and other things. Okay. And it basically talked about breakfast meats, it talked about iPrasara, it talked about iFocus soldiers, and talks about where it is located. So it created a motto, I promise, I focus, I practice. I don't know whether that is true. Then it is also giving some leading questions what I can ask. Now I'm asking who is the founder of iFocus. So if you go to Bard, sorry. Okay, let me repeat it. So it gives some other information, the founder of iFocus Health. So it's basically didn't interpret it well. Let me try again. So the founder of iFocus mission is Shivananda. It has basically improved upon giving the more information with respect to the word. And basically it says that empower people self-development over 30 years, which is not really true. Okay. Whereas it basically says that it is been founded in 2005. So if you really look at the different responses which it produces and how it basically process that information, okay, you can find more than one instances where it is trying to basically create the information which is not out there. And this is where we have to be very, very careful with these technologies when you are using this OpenAI stuff. And that is precisely where the importance of we as human beings comes into the picture. For example, you can also try with OpenAI, the chat GPT. I went and asked it what is iFocus mission. It basically said that I am sorry, I don't have the knowledge about this. I have information only after September 2021, whereas iFocus was basically existed even before that. Yesterday, when I was talking with Bard, iFocus mission, it gave a good definition of it, but at the same time, it gave a wrong information. It's founded by Mr. KV SSSR Eram Shetty, eminent social leader and educationist. So within the same context of the question, different GPT engines are giving different responses, and you cannot really like completely rely on it. This is where is what the human decision power, the human ingenuity, human analytical power will come into the picture. Okay. I see like many people thinking that these tools will readily replace all the human beings, but that is not true. The second aspect of it, because these are all open technologies out there, it could be leveraged by many people in many ways. For example, here there is a concept called deep fakes. It can create lot of fake images. Anand Mahindra is the owner of Mahindra and Mahindra. Somebody has created an AI image of him playing Holi. This is not a real image at all. It is created by AI. It is a fake image. I'm sure many of you, couple of days back, seen this image about Modi, that he comes from such a humble background and all that stuff. He is also sweeping in his own room. But the reality is, this is a fake image generated by AI. Just last week, when Donald Trump was indicted, there was this image created and distributed on internet that he has been arrested by the police. Looks so realistic, but this is again a fake image created by AI. If such things comes out, imagine what kind of implications anybody will have. Look at this AI created image where Pope is riding a motorcycle, which never happened actually. Okay. So here is what like this quote comes very handy. So I never said half the crap people said I did by Albert Einstein. So same thing is applicable with OpenAI and all these technologies. So this is what is one of the important area of work, important research that is happening in terms of how to leverage this tool, at the same time how to put the human dimension to that so that we can take benefit of it but not really getting impacted out of it. From here, where do we go? The future. Okay. Somebody asked, is it going to replace us? Somebody, I mean, it is a question on everybody's mind that where all it will impact, how all it will impact. So there are a lot of studies out there. Okay. So here is one sample study which I basically captured for benefit of all of us. These what you see here is the percentage of jobs, and these are all different industries. Okay, administrative support jobs, legal processing, architectural and engineering, social sciences, business, financial operations, management, sales, and related. So the crux of the study is this OpenAI and this technology, be it GPT or Dali or Copilot, is going to impact in various degrees each of these jobs in next coming years. Okay, some high and some low, but definitely there will be an impact. There will be disruption, but that is doesn't mean an elimination of complete human ingenuity in this picture. There is always this technologies will evolve, will become smarter, but human creativity and human ingenuity cannot be replaced. That is where like we as human beings need to learn how these technologies work, what is happening, how we can leverage them in terms of our day-to-day life and make our lives enriched with it with respect to what we do on day-to-day life. Even though this study is with US and Europe, I am 100% sure this is applicable for India as well. Okay. And there is this aspect of it is been researched and explored and published in various forums. Okay, what I encourage this forum, this whole set of people who are basically listening to the session, and where when the once we share the recording, whoever is having access, start really making yourself intelligent about what is happening around it and how you can actually leverage it. So with that, always remember that we as human beings are the creators. AI is just an enabler. It will help us in terms of making our lives better rather than eliminate us. But temporarily there will be disruption, there will be confusion, there will be kind of anxiety that gets created, but we always come out as winners. In 1800s, when the coal revolution happened, everybody will think that okay, as half the population who are working on the coal mines, they will be eliminated. That didn't happen. In 1900s, when the automobile revolution and industrial revolution happened, when the cars getting invented, people will feel that transportation will get taken over by some set of people, but it has only created more set of opportunities. Same thing will happen with AI as well. So don't feel the feeling of missing out, which is called a FOMO anxiety. So make AI as your own. And on my this last slide, I wanted to really ensure that opportunities are always out there. Okay, I see a lot of people getting shaken up, creating anxiety, losing their balance and focus in terms of how the future will shape up. But there is always new set of opportunity that will come. So having one skill is not a creativity. Creativity is a unique trait of human being. So creativity needs skill. So constantly look out for a new skill and upgrade yourself. Don't think that just learning one skill will basically take it for entire your career. Talent is not an opportunity. Always invest on your talent and look for the right opportunities, because whenever opportunity strikes you, it uses your talent. There are hundreds of tools out there. Just by learning tool, you cannot become productive. Productivity is where how to leverage those tools to enhance what you do. For example, if you're a developer, you might have an idea of what application you wanted to develop or what feature you want to develop. That is your exact creativity. You can use Copilot as a tool in order to quickly develop that. Okay. Again, fundamentally, the top skills which are essential for future is nothing dramatically different. Keep your analytical judgment intact. Be flexible to understand new technology, new areas. Always have the learning mindset. Bring that emotional intelligence in terms of what you work on. And always be curious of what is happening, what is developing, what is happening out there. And as I was sharing earlier, there is always could be misinformation, there could be bias, there could be false information that gets propagated with these tools, because they basically build upon what is ingested by human beings. Okay, so you should basically be on the top of it, challenge the information that is being given out by these tools, and really fix them so that it basically benefit for everyone. And then use AI as a delegator by prompting the right set of information, by utilizing in the right set of ways, and build your capability and make yourself smarter. Okay. So with that, I come to the end of my kind of a pitch on this generative AI. And today we have a very interesting segment by Ram. He is going to quickly talk about some of the work which, in the industry that is happening, which he is involved. Quickly, he will basically give you some of the real life examples which he's been working on. Okay, over to you, Ram. After that, we'll have a brief Q&A session.
Yeah, thanks, Surendra. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the detailed drill down on the core concepts of generative AI.
I'll stop sharing. So if you have anything, you can go ahead and share.
Sure. I think sharing is disabled for me. Lakshmi Kirnana.
Come, give me 1 minute.
Sure, Anna.
Come, you can share.
Sure. Able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Sundarakar talked a lot of stuff all this about, but I want to start from here. You know, what we are getting by using AI and when we are trying to do the stuff without AI. So at the end, what we are trying to achieve here was we can achieve an outstanding quality of the product or the problem statement that we are trying to solve quickly when we are using AI. Without AI, it would be a bit difficult to achieve that quality in any of the scenario, any of the problem statement that we are trying to solve. So that's the core advantage that as a developers or non-IT people can leverage it and can use it effectively rather than worrying about jobs and stuff like that. So the next thing, I mean, how non-IT background people can leverage it. So I think Surendra showed a lot of stuff, how we can interact with any of the platform like ChatGPT or Bing Chat or Bard or any of the platforms. So what I observed in my experience was prompting is very key. How we prompt to the platform gives the, I mean, that depends on the response that we are getting. So there is a course by deeplearning.ai. I think we'll share these resources. Who are some non-IT background can do this 1 hour short course, and there you can understand how you can prompt effectively, how you can ask effectively, so that you will get the better responses from any platform. And one thing I want to add is Bing Chat. When you're logged in with your Microsoft account, it uses GPT-4, which is the latest model from OpenAI. The information could be much more precise, much more latest. I mean, for your results. To leverage GPT-4 via OpenAI platform, it's not available right now. It could be, you should be in wait list, or you should have your credits to leverage GPT-4 model. Yeah, for developers, I mean, they can use the APIs by OpenAI, by Bard into their respective applications, as per the use case. So as of now, Bard is an experiment, so it's not production ready. Their APIs are not production ready, but OpenAI APIs are production ready. A lot of big logos, big companies are leveraging this OpenAI APIs into their enterprise level applications, and they are trying to solve some of the problems or some of the manual work that they are doing with the help of these platforms. So I mean, this is one of the real-time use case that I involved. We did a POC on this. So the problem statement is, we have an examination portal where we conduct our evaluation on different technologies, right? So generally, if you want to conduct an exam, so generally what we do was, for example, if you want to conduct an exam on Azure, depending upon the audience, with with some difficult questions, some complex questions and stuff like that, generally we gather questions, we prepare the JSON and we'll put it in the DB so that it will reflect when the user logs in and the examination goes. But what we thought was, how, I mean, we can leverage the generative AI here to do the stuff for us. So that's where we leveraged OpenAPI APIs and build some APIs on top of OpenAPI APIs, and we consumed it into our application. So this is this is the prompt. Generally, we give it to the API, create an exam paper with 10 multiple choice questions. I mean, very basic example. So this is what the response it gives. It gives in the JSON format with all the questions and with the answer. So generally it takes us a day to conduct this exam, but generally drill downs to a matter of 5 to 10 minutes after when we leverage this APIs. I just want to show I don't want to drill into the code, but this is the Python-based APIs that we built. So we leverage OpenAPI here and OpenAPI APIs. So this is the OpenAPI chat completion API. We used a 3.5 turbo as of now, as GPT-4 is not available for public to consume. But generally, if we deployed it to Azure, and when we hit this API, so this is the response that we'll get. This is the questions. Question number 1: what is the question? What are the choices? And what is the answer for the same? Whatever we asked. So generally, to do this, it's a manual task that took us some time to do that, but we automated it with the help of generative AI. This is one of the real-time use case that we leveraged. And this is what Sudhir is talking about, the Copilot and stuff like that. I think we can plan other sessions to drill down more on the Codex and Copilot. But I think some of the I saw a question on the chat where they asked how ChatGPT is different from Codex or Copilot, right? But when we asked questions in ChatGPT, it doesn't have any context. If you said something, it will respond to the same. But when we use Copilot, it's an AI programmer, so it has all the context of the stuff that's happening inside your IDE. For example, I integrated this into my Visual Studio Code, so it has all the context. If I ask you to explain, write unit tests, re-optimize it, fix something, so it has more context. So that's the difference that we get with Copilot. And GPT model, ChatGPT uses different model, whereas Copilot uses different model, right? It uses Codex and ChatGPT uses GPT model. So there's a difference there. This is specific to solve some of our day-to-day programming activities. So that's the one of the different thing. So that's the real-time use case that I have been working on. There would be many use cases, but so there's an emerging use case that I figured out that Myntra started using. I think everyone uses Myntra, right? So if you open Myntra and see there's an explore button here, and if you see there's a My Fashion GPT where we can ask questions and we'll get the response. For example, if you see the question here, I don't like formal, show me comfortable Indian outfit for offices. So it gives us the specific results according to that, so that if we want to filter these results, it would be much more difficult for us, right? We need to spend some time on the app, and then we need to figure out the results for that. But this is like it gives us the results just like that. So this is one of the emerging use case but there are many that they're out there in the market that they are leveraging. And one more question I want to answer in the chat. So someone asked if the data when we are trying to search or when we want to do something, whether the data is publicly, OpenAI uses our data or it stores our data. So as of now, that's not the case. OpenAI is building the models on the open network, so it don't take the data from the private. For example, if it reads the data, it won't read the data from private GitHub repositories and stuff like that. It's completely on the open network. But if we want to train our model on our data, for example, we want to build something inside our organization, and the data should be very private. So that's where we have concept of fine tuning. We can fine tune the OpenAI model on top of our data, so that and then we can store it into our premises. For example, Sudhir talked about OpenAI service. So that is one of the advantage with leveraging Azure OpenAI service, which is not publicly available right now. It's it's on the request basis. We need to request Microsoft to give access to OpenAI. But yeah, when we leverage services from enterprises like Microsoft or Amazon or whatever it is, we'll get the comfort of doing the stuff at our premises or at our own data center, or the computing power is in our control and the model is training on top of that. So that's the question. I think that's done. I don't have much. Any questions for me?
Thanks, Ram. Short but sweet. So here is a couple of important takeaways from there. If you have seen what Ram has shared, If somebody is trying to conduct an exam, there is a process of generating questions, somebody reviewing it, somebody finalizing it, preparing the question bank and giving it. And since this whole thing is very, very effort intensive manually, always same question has been given to many students. Okay. That is the typical practice in industry. But what you can see in future using this OpenAI technologies is you can have a dynamic question papers. Okay. Based on the class, based on the topic, based on the complexity, and based on the key skills you wanted to judge per student, you can always create customized questions dynamically within no time. Within few minutes, you can create dynamic set of question papers and really distribute it among the students. So what this will basically enable is, it is not about just one set of questions which everybody has to answer, but you can have very customized set of curriculum, customized set of examination, customized set of instruction, customized set of preparation, and you can have a very dynamic education models coming up in future. Very, very important aspect of it. Similarly, if you looked at the Myntra example, or even in Amazon and a lot of retail stores, they are using these technologies to really bring that human element. You can you try like 100 different dresses before you buy what you like it, which is humanly impossible if you start like driving to each shop and try it out. With this image generation model, they can morph it and show you the various options. Okay. Especially the people with special requirements or differently abled. If somebody is not able to really write it fluently, they can use voice with ChatGPT to generate a document. They are not limited by their typing capabilities. If somebody is basically, I wanted to basically interact with, let's say, a Braille student. Today I don't know Braille, and he may the Braille student may not be able to read the text. Okay, with OpenAI, okay, with GPT, where it can convert text to voice and voice to text, I can basically express and it can basically convert into a voice, and then that person can, he or she can listen and respond. And same thing happens in reverse. Okay. If somebody wanted to create a research paper, now I see Ravi also in the session, he wanted to create a financial report for a company. Okay. Either he can write it type manually, or he can basically use this tool to summarize, review the summary and put it into the report in a matter of few minutes. Okay. These are all the fantastic capabilities. Look at, if we leverage this capability, how much it will enhance our potential, how much it will expand the things which we can do in this world. That is the power of this technology. And it is only limited by your imagination, how much you can do that. Okay. So that's the kind of closing comments, and I think we are almost on the top of the hour. Any quick one or two questions I can take?
Yes, sir. There is one question in chat, Dr. Upendra Garu. Could you please share some insights, engineering and architecture business?
Come again? I mean, I didn't.
The question is, could you please share some insights, engineering and architectural business?
Okay, okay. If we are talking about the construction, manufacturing, or architectural business, one of the new developments that is happening, especially with the image generation, okay, with respect to the GPT, where it can really not only create the text, but it will also can process the numbers. It can also create the Excel reports. So in the engineering side, on the architectural side, this has been explored extensively to really create. For example, if I wanted to create a very unique design for my own house, or for my own building, I can leverage these technologies. And the power of this technology is like if you really go with a human kind of a thing, you might create 2 blueprints, 5 blueprints, or 10 blueprints. But with this technology, you can create like thousands of them in a very short time. Okay. And work through those in order to select the best. For example, one of the industry use cases is was some of the car manufacturing today are using this technology extensively to design their new models. Okay, so a lot of work is happening, and in future we will discuss about those in subsequent sessions.
Sir, we have another question from Aditya Potu. ChatGPT or BART, which one is more useful for software developers or engineers?
It doesn't matter. Both are using different GPT engines and the different technologies. Okay, there is no one tool which is best versus others. Whatever you are comfortable, you can go ahead and use it. But always the output which is generated, be very careful to really go through it, make sure it is the right information, challenge that information, fine tune it before you leverage it in the field.
Thank you, sir. Next question from Kiran Garu. Can we develop websites using Dali?
Dali develops the images, but if you are developing, I mean, very simple answer is you can use Codex to generate the code for your web page, use Dali to generate images, okay, and use Copilot to deploy that web page, okay. Use ChatGPT to have a conversational capability on your web page. So all the things you can do.
Another question from Saignan Garu. When ChatGPT or BART are using internet to gather the information, why it is resulting in wrong results? Wrong information.
Okay. So here is fundamental difference from a search versus this conversational AI, which I was talking to you earlier. The search results will basically find out the information and presents you that information. Whereas this conversational AI, what it is trying to do is, it is taking all that information and trying to put the context, trying to put a meaning, and then give you the give you a conversational kind of a response. Sometimes what happens, this is a research topic which is still not explained. Sometimes what happens is in the huge set of information it is processing, it tries to basically prioritize one information against others. And it's a mistake why it picks up. And sometimes it even tries to generate a new set of information which doesn't exist. Okay. And this is one of the important aspect of this new computational technology. And in that process, what it outputs may not be 100% correct. But there are some techniques in order to reduce those errors. So one has to basically use those techniques in order to fine tune it and make sure that those errors doesn't occur very frequently, or errors are really not high in nature, in which will impact the output of what it is generating. Okay, but this concept called hallucination exists within the context of this GPTs or chat GPTs. In fact, you can try this. I was trying yesterday. How many A's are there in a word chat GPT? Can anybody answer quickly? Did you understand the question?
One.
One.
Right. That is what we do. But if you really go into chat GPT and ask the same question and discover yourself how it will respond. Sometimes even for a simple question like this, it will go really bonkers. It will basically give some kind of different answers. Okay.
Another question from Ganesh B21B. Is AI going to destroy imagination and creativity in children?
Pardon? Can you repeat?
Is AI going to destroy imagination and creativity in children?
I don't think so. Because it will only actually challenge the imagination and creativity rather than destroying it.
Okay.
In fact, it will enhance.
Exactly. I see like some of the children using these technologies in much more better way which we can imagine.
So next question from a student soldier who is pursuing BTech in AI ML.
Just a minute, Subbareddy. I think in the interest of time, let's see. We will take one more question and then close the session.
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
this Venkatesh, sir. So one final question is, so what kind of job roles that we can think of getting into AI world, sir?
So this is a very good question. My response to that is, this AI is not limited to just IT jobs or IT related. Every area, be it engineering, be it sciences, be it research, be it academician, this technology is available to everyone. You don't have to know the technology to use this OpenAI technologies. So one of the important aspect of it is, along with whatever domain you are working on, understand what kind of new tools that are getting developed and generated in this space and how you can leverage those in your space. For example, if you are an economist, how you can use this OpenAI technology to really make your predictions, portfolio management and all using this OpenAI technologies and serve more customers. Okay. That way, you will not only improve your capability, but you will also able to scale your business. Similarly, on your job, if you are a developer, okay, use this codex and other technologies in order to enhance your productivity. Instead of taking 6 months to develop a product, you can rather do it in 6 weeks, okay, and then scale it up. So AI is kind of an enabler where there is no one topic or one technology is out there which you will learn and you will become expert of it. So this is a constant evolving field, very new field. So what my earnest request is, every one of you, I hope this introduction is helpful. Take the clues from this, go and search in the web, talk to the friends, join some communities, understand what is happening out there, and then create your own opportunities. Okay.
Great, sir. Wonderful insights.
Thank you very
about,
much, sir. It was useful.
Wonderful insights about ChatGPT and AI related. Wonderful session. Thanks for your time, Surendra Garu, Lalit Garu, and Ram. And very thanks to each one and all who attended this wonderful informative session. So if you want more details about how to join, how to get more details about the sessions and all, so as we so be a part of iFocus mission. If you have more details about iFocus mission, you can reach out to us. Yeah, you can reach out to us anytime. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Yep.
And we will talk more in future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.